Agri Fishery Clustering and Consolidation.
Again, my name is Ramon Acolico, and in 2015, I attended a symposium jointly sponsored by UNDP and AIM. The theme of the symposium was poverty, zero poverty 2035. And they also pointed out where the problem was. And they pinpointed the problem. 2/3 of the poverty problem is attributed to the coconut and rice industries. It has been 5 years, 4 or 5 years, and nothing has come out of that. Last week we had former Secretary Lorenzo and said that the private sector should be more involved. So, as an advocate in the coconut industry, my question is, what priority do you have when the problem has been identified? What are you doing about solving the problem in the coconut industry? The reason I came back from the States after 45 years was to help the coconut farmer. Now we know that the coconut farmer is one of the biggest problems. The next problem is, how do we help the coconut farmer? What is the problem that confronts the coconut farmer? After a year of 2 years looking into that, I came up with the problem of farmers' disposable income. Now, if we concentrate on the coconut industry and we know what the basic problem is, disposable income, then we can do something about it. That's why I introduced the problem. My solution is a totally integrated coconut processing plant at the farm gate area. And this would encourage the farmers to sell to the enterprise because we will be able to give a better price. Now, if the basic problem is disposable income, if we increase the disposable income of the farmer, then the farmer, because they have been, they were able to support the industry for the last 55 years, and there's the food. Now, my question to you is, will you attack the main problem, or will you try to solve the smaller problems that we have in the industry, in agriculture? Because if we solve the big problem, then that big problem can help in the development of the other sectors. Thank you.
In other words, what you're saying overall is that why is it that the two industries, rice and coconut, are the industries that government is trying to solve the most, the problems that government trying to solve, and yet their problem gets bigger?
Because there is no concerted effort on the part of the government. Because if you recall, before we were only exporting copra, then in about 66 or 67, there was a ban on the export of copra. The entrepreneurs came in, they set up plants. Well, that whole program was derailed during martial law. As we all know what happened. Yes, the coconut farmers had the heydays. They got up to 60 pesos per kilo of copra at that time. But because the coconut farmer has to be educated, as you said. So now, we have to educate the farmer, give him enough incentive for them to do what you are trying to do. Without disposable income, it's a failed policy.
Okay, give us a chance to respond and we move on. Okay.
Between us, the rice and coconut farmers put together, represent 90% of our farmers all over the country. We know there's a problem with rice, very low productivity. We have blinded ourselves by the protections that we've had over the decades, and have not known, have not learned that the other countries around us are becoming more competitive. In any case, that's a different problem. Coconut, we have also been so focused on just one product, and that's the problem. And we know that that single product, copra, most of the main production is oil. And over the decades, cooking oil and the oil from copra have also been the subject of competition. First from soybean and now from palm oil. So this is the reason why the coconut farmers are unable to cope, because from their heydays, very high prices, all of a sudden they face competition and the prices have become depressed. And therefore, they need to diversify. But if there's enough training, they can. There's so many products, more valuable than just copra now. In fact, with the existing trees that we have, they can earn easily the equivalent of their heydays in terms of income. The disposable income problem should not be a problem if they are able to adapt to the new lines of products that they can, they have every opportunity to do. And that is where government can help in a big way, because the technologies are there and the resources to help them are there, but they're not organized enough. And this is what I'm saying. If we can consolidate our farmers, our coconut farmers, so that whenever they choose to shift to one particular product, you have VCO, you have fresh buko juice, you have coconut wire.
Okay, point well taken. Ladies and gentlemen, when your points with you, keep your point short and brief, and ask the question right away, because there's so many others who can entertain.
Point of procedure. The title is how we move forward. So whenever appropriate, when somebody says something and you have an idea on what we can do, say it already, because this is not question and answer. This is, as you said, moving forward. So there's a topic and we ask you and we do it. If you have an idea on what we can do, please say it. That's all.
Okay, yes, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Now, we all know the 8 reasons of our undevelopment, what you call as medium term. I'd like to say that we all know these things, but there are a number of things that we refuse to recognize in our analysis of Philippine agriculture. The first one I would like to add to your analysis is our answer to the question of who are the Filipino farmers, both in rice and in Laguna. Now, in Laguna recently, I found out that of the rice farmers in Bain, for example, only 20% are owner cultivators, and 80% are shareholders or self-cultivators of absentee owners who are former beneficiaries or inheritors of agrarian reform things. And the other thing I'd like to add to this is that 3% in the whole Southeast Asia study, only 3% of the Filipino rice farmers are considered competitive. Now, if you look at the 3% competitive Filipino farmers, they are not small farmers. They are not shareholders. They are the farmers who have economic size rice farms, 5 hectares or more. Now, the other thing I'd like to add to the analysis is because of our concept of farming, which is small farming, we refuse to recognize that small farming is a low economic and social incentive regime of economic activity. And therefore, nobody would like to go there. And then, the other one I'd like to suggest that you should consider is the land use utilization of our agriculture. You know, we are still thinking of 3 generations away of coconut farmers. My grandfather was like that. He had 12 hectares of coconut, and he was able to send all his children to the school. It was divided into 7. And only one of those 7 is dead. All the other 6 went away. What happened to their share? They are just left there. If somebody picks it up, then it is there. That's why you will notice that in the countryside, there are so many farms that are vacant, unattended. These are owned by people who inherited the land but are living in Manila, in Cebu, in the United States, and somewhere else. So, even with clustering, you have a problem because they do not own the land that they have. Even with clustering, you cannot expect them to be able to get access to credit because they are not owners. Even with clustering of the small, poor, unskilled, residual workers in agriculture, it's hard to get them moving as a group.
Okay, did you want to comment
Now-
on that? Yeah, are you sure?
So
Okay.
these are my observations. And you know, if I may, Japan had a very good example of this. And in 1947, they only followed 4 principles to solve the poverty of rice farmers. The first principle was that no rice farmer in Japan will be poor. In order that a rice farmer in Japan will not be poor, he must have an economic size farm. An economic size farm would be 4 to 5 hectares, which will have an income equivalent to a professional engineer or teacher. The third principle is only one of the children will inherit the economic size farm. It should not be divided again, because once it is divided, it's no longer economic size. And then the fourth one is that the government must focus their support to these economic size rice farmers, from production to marketing. You know how it came back to be? In 1996, we had the World Food Summit in FAO. The economists were comparing the price of producing 1 ton of rice in Thailand, in Japan, and in California of the United States. The data show that in Thailand they can produce 1 ton of rice of about $300. In California, slightly smaller than $300. Do you know how much it was in Japan? $3,600 per ton. And they said, Tito, I want you to help us find an answer to this question. I said, what is your question? And he enumerated this. They said, are the Japanese subsidizing the rice farming? I said, no. We are following a policy of government which started in 1947, which is a parity of farmer income to any sector of the economy. Since they have limited the area for expansion, the only way in which the rice farmer can increase his income is to put up the price of his product. And the consumers did not mind it because they know the policy. Okay? So, there are ways. If you want me to give you some examples of what's happening in the Philippines, I know some.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, okay. You want to comment or not?
I note the wisdom that were presented by Sir
Tito.
I think we learned lessons from that. With respect to the rise of the Japanese, I was with the Minister for Economic Concerns of the Japanese Embassy yesterday. We had lunch. And I asked them, how come your rice is so expensive? He said, they have had 700% tariff.
Okay, Mr. Blue. Quickly, we don't have that much time for, we have entertained a number of other questions.
One of the things I would encourage you to read is the Magna Carta for Small Farmers. It was published to get the model that was written in 1992 because it changes. Okay. I have someone who, a Jewish guy from the States, who has put together an integrated vegetable and fruit processing plant meant for some Wanda, and he's qualified. The entire issue here is processing. You have a feed mill. You put a feed mill in, everyone starts to congregate around a feed mill because they know they can sell their stuff. That's one of the main issues. The other issue is hemp. Hemp and other medicinal crops. We can't compete anywhere with the existing crops. And the market for hemp worldwide is very, very significant. It's not that difficult to grow. We have cures for dengue. We have cures even for African swine fever that can be grown. All of these programs, if you folks would look at them, could be very, very important. It could help our health costs as well. But the other issue is satellite images. I would recommend that you either talk to China, Russia, or the U.S. and see if you can get satellite images 365 days for the past 30 or 40 years and put them in a loop. So you can look at floods, you can look at agricultural productivity, and all these different things. I'm sure that there are pattern recognition programs that can basically look at things and you can put integers in for height and topography and all these other different things, and give a basis as to where things can be placed. You want contiguous flat land, okay? You have to separate the contiguous flat land from the other parts of land, and then you've got to move people from the contiguous flat land into manageable things that are smaller areas for smaller farmers to grow. We have plans for circular cities grown by and produced by something like a civilian conservation corps made up of 17 and 18-year-olds. All the kids that are getting out of force like this, there's a documentary I can send you based on the CCC. They did land remediation. They talk about, in the 30s, they went in and they said, no one's done anything with the farms. And all of these people spent a huge amount of time remediating and doing all sorts of different things. But I'll send you something.
Okay.
We can talk.
Okay. Comment here. Yes.
here in this forum, we share what mistakes we have done in the past.
Can you bring your mic closer?
We share whatever mistakes we have done in the past so that they don't get repeated. Mr. Secretary, I know that you're doing your best and maybe this is not your creation, that you have actually used public money to fund cooperatives that have failed for our processing industry. Failures are the lymphoma slaughterhouse that was built and is now actually, now we worry because you're now building another slaughterhouse in Tanawan, and we worry on the way this is going to be managed. Cooperatives in the Philippines, as cooperatives, has a greater chance of failure than success. Successful cooperatives here should be run by business people whose motivation is to make money. I just want to motion on those directions. I'll speak on something that is very close to my heart. I am actually a vegetable farmer. I am an educated farmer. I have actually, with the help of some private companies, I have trained 181 farmers for 3 months in my farm. And this was done without government support. Now the problem here is, we ask the question, why are our farmers aging? Why is there no interest for the younger generation? Why? It's very clear, sir. I think everybody talks about this in this venue. It's market linkage. I speak good English, not as good as the farmers, but I can only sell my eggplant at 8 pesos per kilo. How much do you buy your eggplant at the supermarkets? You buy them at 75, 78 pesos per kilo. We all talk about helping the farmers, but nobody talks about the linkage. People who does the linkages are actually vultures. Vultures who squeeze blood out of us. My plea to you, sir, is please educate. We have educated them enough. I think they know more than what we think they should know. It is the linkage to the farms that we should first show. It's just a statement, Mr. Undersecretary. Thank you very much.
You're correct in that regard, because we really need to develop this linkage to the markets, so that even before a farmer starts planting, he should know that he can sell it. But for the most part, many of our farmers are not doing that. And this is the reason why I believe professional farm managers in cluster groups can help. Of course, I'm not saying they might succeed 100% of the time, but if we have good people who can study through markets and find out where to link, then the effort comes from that enterprise itself. And it's going to be very difficult for the government to be the one directing the private sector where to sell. It doesn't work that way. And we haven't seen successes in ventures that the government has taken the lead on. Very few, probably, if there are. So, in my mind, I think it's the better direction is to let the private sector do it, but help them, guide them, provide information that they need. And if there's a need to provide the training, then we get in. The inputs, you know what, I mean, I've been 2 months, 2.5 months in DA, and I feel like we're a DSWD. We're providing free seeds, free fertilizer, free irrigation, free this and that. But what's happening to the sector? I would rather see a situation where the private sector lead themselves, but we provide them general things like, for instance, your suggestion of getting the maps, satellite maps. We've been I was for 2 years a consultant to Senator Vicerra in Agriculture Committee in the Senate. We've been working on weather index-based insurance, so that whenever a typhoon strikes or calamity strikes, immediately, based on index alone, the farmer gets paid. For instance, if there's a rainfall of 400 millimeters for one day, they get paid without having to see whether there's damage or not. Because for sure there will be damage in that area. That's the kind of thinking that we have. But right now, we have a PCIC, Philippine Crop Insurance Program, that when the farmer gets struck by flooding or by typhoon, they get paid maybe 2 years later. That's not the kind of help that our farmers need.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Yes, Mr. Undersecretary, thank you for sharing with us your future plans. Maybe add also that maybe we have to amend certain government policies or laws, particularly on financing. For example, the Agri law. I have talked to a lot of bankers, and they're willing, they do hear of agriculture, finance agriculture. But they say, and I checked it out personally myself, when I took a look at the Agri law, it's very limited, the use of the money which the banks are supposed to lend out, and it's only limited to individual farmers or cooperatives. I have a friend that has been consultant for quite some time, and he has a very nice project, all cash flows are all ready, but he had the unfortunate mistake of incorporating. When we went to DA, this was about 2 years ago, lining up for these ACEF loans or whatever those things. Immediately they asked us, the frontliners asked us, are you a farmer? Well, they said, no, but I'm an entrepreneur, you know, linkages, market linkages, and etc. Are you a cooperative? No, we don't have a cooperative yet, but we get to form a corporate farm contracts with farmers. And then they said, no, we can't give you anything because you are a corporation. Go to BDO, go to BPI. When we went to BDO and BPI, they said, well, you're involved in agriculture. We don't touch agriculture. Go back to land bank, go back to DA. So it was a ping pong between financial institutions. We were neither Edward or Backrock or Beast. Anyway, so I think the agri law should be liberalized so that there will be more, let's say, private sector who are corporations or corporatives who are more organized, because these are the companies, the entities that are, let's say, more educated or they have the personalities to put together a market, supermarkets, and etc., and take this up to the producers. In other words, we have just been, I think, assisting the farmers, but it has become a black hole actually, because the lending to farmers who were not quick really to make use of the money, and so they are unable to pay, and so that we all get into this cycle of produce a prejudice against farmers.
Yes, sir. I have some hopeful news for you.
I would like to know what is being done to promote the seaweed farming. We have such an extensive coastal area, and the demand is so big, we're not doing it at all. Just to share, MAP did a project in San Jose, Vicerra Occidental, and I know that the benefit has really flowed down to the community. I've been attending awards event by National Nutrition Council and the SWD. They've given awards to this, to San Jose, Vicerra Occidental. And so you can promote it further.
Thank you. First to answer, gentlemen, I have hopeful news for you. Last week I attended the Economic Development Cluster. There's a proposal from there, so the banking sector to amend the Agri law in two ways. One is to remove the distinction between agri and the agrarian and consider it as fused. And then the other is to further remove the distinction between just the agriculture part of it and the MSME part of it. So in other words, I think there's going to be wider coverage of what the banks can lend to under this agri. Now, with respect to seaweeds, ma'am, just to tell you, a few weeks ago, I went to Zamboanga for a sardines congress, but I insisted to the regional director that I want to see a village of fisher folk. And I met a group, probably this number. And you know what? I was so surprised. No one was malnourished. Everybody was healthy. They were earning from seaweeds farming alone. They were not even fishing. But then they're saying they still need to improve the way they market because they can still get higher income if they get to the right people who will process their produce. I was so encouraged by this, and I thought that this is one way to really help all our fisher folk all over the country, because there's so many of them, and they're always among the guys who we associate with poverty, and we would like to. I have been asking the administrator of BFAR to put more resources into helping the seaweed farmers. They even sea cucumber. It's also a good source of income, export. So, marami pong magagawa. But I've always been insisting, let's do clustering and consolidation. Bring in the professionals so that they can help them better.
Sir, you said, my name is David, and just a little comment that needs some attention. You mentioned that the farmers are not progressive, but could you just kindly help them? Because this is my tradition that they're farming, the way that their parents raise their farm. It's working for them. And so this involves your staff that goes around and then listen to the proper number of fertilizer and the irrigation and hopes to give their products to the center. And on the other one, I see that security is totally holistic because it should involve the Department of Education, and it does involve the Department of Finance. And can the farmers take loans now with the land bank against their property, or is this still not considered by the land bank? And then, of course, like even the fishermen, the small fishermen, like say in the islands, they get what they can as sustenance for the week, but the bigger ships get all the fish. And this is something that involves also the Department of Trade and Industry. Your work is a lot of work, but it needs an interagency coordination in order to succeed. And so my question is, can the farmers now loan money from the land bank against their property, house and lot, or is this not yet allowed?
One of the things that will be part of that bill that was suggested at the EPC is to clarify the use of agrarian reform collateral lands. I think we need to further improve its bankability. Okay. Now, with respect to
if the ownership, what they're holding on to is not verifiable, it cannot be used as collateral.
So I think we have to move towards being able to use that as collateral. And it's the problem there is that there are levels of policy. when we talk about laws, then we need to go to a bigger body, the Congress, which may take some time before getting something changed. So, by way of policy muna, we can clarify things better using the executive in the meantime, but without having to leave behind the policy reforms to improve the way we assist our farmers. Yun po muna ang gagawin natin, what is doable in the immediate term, and without forgetting that there are clarifications that we need to do to improve the dysfunctions. For instance, our accountabilities in the DA leave us at the regional level only because the extension system has been removed. So most government agencies are operating at the regional level. But between the regional office and scores or hundreds of LGUs, it's so difficult to choose which LGU to prioritize. What we'd like to do is, if we can already see the potential for a particular area to develop, then I think it's much better to help them right away. But these are things that will show themselves up if the farmers are organized and led by agri experts to help them in improve their productivity.
So that's the role of management.
Yes. Yes.
Good morning, sir. I went into farming as a trial a few years ago. Overall, basically I quit. Main reason is that the person that I trusted to take care of the farm ended up taking advantage. So at that time, I was talking to him about progressive ideas and creating a clearinghouse, meaning I would look for the market here in Metro Manila and have the farmers come together and then give me what you have to sell, then I'll find the market here. So I would start creating a channel to funnel whatever they harvest into a market here. I was already talking to one of the casinos that had 27 restaurants. So they were asking, they needed commitments. So I talked to some of the farmers, they liked the idea. However, what happened a few months after was sinisira ako. The guy who I asked to take care of the farm was taking over my idea. So he was saying bad things about me, and saying I'm not paying it properly and all of that. I was actually taking more than the minimum wage and much more than what the farm manager would be taking. The character of the people is one of the big problems I see with farming. Very short term. I see that in cooperatives, especially the electrical co-ops. One by one, they die out. Why? Because of internal corruption. There's a certain personality that comes out, like Jekyll and Hyde. What I definitely do not agree is giving for free. You're giving fertilizer, giving this, giving that. There is no dignity for the farmer. If they don't learn the dignity, they're not going to have pride in what they do. I also don't agree with the very linear and very direct attack of the situation. A lot of the farmers, a lot of what almost every government institution is doing is a very linear, seems to be logical, but every time they do that, it fails. It does not work. The Filipino personality is not linear. Filipinos are more relational. They're more instinctive. So if we do something like, instead of telling them what they should be doing and coming on as we are better than you, come on, like, what do you have? What can you do? Listen to them first. Because even though they know, they think they know better, or they don't know they know better. There's certain knowledge that they have, and we have to build on that. We cannot put our values and our technology in their situation. We have to build what they have and somehow adopt modern technology and adjust it to their way of doing things.
Okay, very good. Yes, okay. Wait for the mic. There are a couple of insights here on the Secretary. All throughout our past, I think the orientation of government towards production is import substitution. Import substitution may not even be adequate because the emphasis should be export. But when you have export as the guideline, you're after quality. If you cannot produce quality, you cannot export. You're stuck with the system here, and you get into underproduction problems. That's the first point. The second point is that instead of agricultural policy, look at land policy. What is the land useful for? Right now, I think rice production in Calabarzon is either dying or dead because land prices have gone up. 1 hectare, you're talking of 500 pesos a square meter or 1,000. But 1,000 a square meter, that's 10 million pesos per hectare. Why should you go into rice and make 20,000 a year without supports when you can sit on it or sell it or wait for it to go up further? Let the land sit, wait for the value to go up, and sell at the right price and get much better return sitting on your interest. So we have to look at land policy as well as shoreline policy because sometimes it's better to put up a resort engage into fishing. For some fisheries, of course, better, but you have to look at the economic value of the site, of the land, of the seashore, of the mountains for tourism purposes. It should be land directed. Okay? And by the way, when the farmers leave the land, you will complain that there are not enough farmers. Well, they've gone abroad and are securing better income for us, and we're getting $30 billion a year in overseas income. That's better than a farm sitting there at 20,000, if you work it, 20,000 pesos per hectare. You can see that in the farm areas now, you can see Disneyland houses coming up, all are full. That's a product of overseas contract workers sending money here and saving our economy. At $30 billion a year, in 2 years we wipe out our national debt and our foreign debt. That has advantages to the system. So it should not just be agricultural policy, but land policy and people policy. And the way to do it is, I guess, educate them, and they're getting educated, but that education is going to other sources. But that's not necessarily bad if it produces income for us as a country. Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Undersecretary Vicerra, I was really fascinated by your recommendation that we support an agribusiness manager at the local level. And towards that end, let me tell you that we have a member of MAP who has been advocating for this for a long time. And I think we should go ahead and do it. My concern is that we have provincial agriculturists whose only qualification is graduate of agriculture. Suppose we dismantle that and have a provincial agribusiness administrator at the top provincial level, who would also, in using your own word of consolidation and clustering, who would be involved or engaged in all other crops in that province. As of now, you have fragmented specialized agencies doing sugar, corn, tobacco, or coconuts. The provincial agricultures have nothing to do with them. He is not responsible for them. So there's no coordination within that province. So with an agribusiness administrator, he would oversee the entire agricultural function of the area, rather than all these other agencies going in, doing their own, and there's no broad coordination. That's all I want to say.
That's the other direction that we're doing with the agriculture in the department. As directed by the secretary, he wants to develop a system for extension at the provincial level. But I think your idea, your proposal should be part of this provincial extension system, and I would recommend it.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Undersecretary. In these past several years that I've been associated with CAMP, and when we recommended the collaborative provincial agricultural extension, we found out that in the country, the work of agriculture has been given to the municipality. But when agriculture fails, it is left not to them, but to the end. Now, how can we save the neck of the end? The only way in which it can save its neck is to collaboratively work with the local units. And when we say collaboratively, it will not only be a collaboration in policy, but it should be a collaboration in funding, planning, and execution. Now, while we were convinced that in agricultural extension this will work, as I am hearing about our problems in rice and coconut, as you said, 90% or more of our farmers are there. I think one of the strategies that the should adopt is the collaborative agricultural development at the provincial level, not only extension. And by doing this, you will be able to pinpoint which province or provinces are not doing your job. Therefore, you can say, well, as DA, our work in a certain province is working because we are doing it collaboratively. In the other provinces, it doesn't. The other advantage to this is that DA will be able to make the different provinces compete with each other. When I was in Eastern Samar for the collaborative agricultural, provincial agricultural extension system, I discovered that even in Eastern Samar, we have a provincial plan of agricultural development. And we were comparing their province to the other provinces in the region, in Region 8. And they were saying, the province of Leyte is the highest producer of rice. And their rice production per hectare was so much, and the total production was this much. Said, Eastern Samar can actually compete with Western Leyte, with Leyte, if we can only have irrigation and all the support that is needed to do it. And this is by province. I think our concept of regional administration of agriculture will not work because it does not have the handle, to operate it. And our proposal is the provinces that are very poor must have a bigger share of aid. For example, an agricultural extension worker has only so much salary. Tap it from DA, and then he will have a high salary equivalent to the rest of the country. Yeah. So I think you should look into agricultural
Yes, sir.
development
In fact-
unit.
In fact, right now,
Thank you.
members of the camp are helping in leading actually this development in the DA. They're helping us with the technical expertise, even helping in providing the necessary write-ups for us to be able to get some assistance from the World Bank. So, camp is there. Fermin Adriano, Rex Navarro.
Okay, go ahead.
USec, just one observation and two related suggestions to that. The first observation is that the economists call it regulatory capture, which means for me vested interests have captured government. I mean, that I think is an accepted fact. There are two suggestions arising from that. One is your proposal for clustering and consolidation, which I think is correct, the right way to go. However, there's also the other thing there. How can civil society influence government? Because right now, the presidents have captured government. Rice and corn, 90% of the farmers, rice you have NFA, corn you have PCA. And as Tony Chicampo mentioned in his talk in PCCP last week, it's a reverse of government of King Midas. Whenever government touches something, it turns not into gold, but horse manure. I'm sorry, I'm just echoing what Chicampo said. So I think the second suggestion is, can you, the enlightened people, Secretary Dar, you, imagine if Manny Pacquiao heads DA. I'm just imagining that. But can enlightened people in government help civil society participate in government? So I think that's, now the exact specific steps, I don't know yet, but perhaps Ernie or you and others. But I think that's the concrete thing for us, civil society, to effectively participate in government. Thank you.
I think there's already a venue for that. It's called the Philippine Council for Agriculture and Fisheries. Ernie is one, is that his group is one of the members, C9. And but we feel that we need to broaden the membership so that more voices can come in. I think that's the general observation that we've had over the past 2 years.
Okay, one more point before we close.
Sir, I have a question. Has the DA considered, because I've seen the flower auctions in Holland, the fish auction in Japan, has the DA considered going in that direction? Because I think the farm gate and the Guerreros, that's a disparity of pricing.
Right now, in terms of markets, I think all options are open. We need to develop linkages to the consumers. Options market, if that is what's needed, probably we should work into that. Right now, I'm in the process of organizing a review and updating of all our roadmaps in various areas, various commodities, and with the intention of bringing, first updating the data, second bringing in the value chain approach in all of the roadmaps. And also making sure that the vision of our secretary for a food secure Philippines with prosperous farmers should be there. We call it masaganang ani at mataas na kita para sa magsasaka. So we will, in updating all of our roadmaps, we would like to make sure that it's there and there are strategies to attain how we can increase the incomes of our farmers.
Okay. Sir, just a suggestion, because the problem, the big problem is the Guerreros and the retail outlets.
Yes.
Part of the reason is we don't know what the farm gate price is. If there is a way to, let's say, public, because in the auction house, the price is public. Everybody knows it. If there's a way for the DA to operate the system wherein
farm gate prices in different areas are actually made public.
I
So
think
that
we
when
would,
the heroes sell, it's calculated.
but we would rather encourage the private sector to set up a market like that. So maybe we can, if there's some possibility that we can develop a roadmap for that, but it's not really the DA who will do it. It should be private sector.
But the market information is available to DA.
We will make we will make the data available. I think in terms of the statistics right now, we're so limited. We need, kanya nga, this is the reason why we need to review and update all our roadmaps so that we can present the data in a more organized manner so that people can see what the directions for each commodity is going, which directions each commodity is going to take. And if there's a need to develop certain aspects like commodities and options, just like the Chicago board in the States, or options market in there. These are things that can be developed, but it's not going to be DA that will operate them. We will provide the environment so that these linkages can develop. Siguro ganun ang direction natin. Because as I agreed with the rest a while ago, whenever, Toti Chikyampo has already noted that whenever the government brings its hands there, it seems that there's a reverse of the Midas touch. Siguro, we would rather encourage the private sector helping the farmers. This is the big brother, small brother approach also being encouraged by the Secretary.
Okay, this is definitely the last question and comment. Okay.
Yes, actually, Mr. Undersecretary, what you're talking about actually already exists. It exists actually. We vegetable growers in San Pablo, we access this Facebook-based sharing of prices in Quezon, Sarigaya. Sarigaya publishes every day the prices of each vegetables. So if a person comes to me and tells me, I will buy your produce for 10 pesos, I would tell him, hey, it's 14 in Sarigaya. And he would haggle with me and say, can I get it at 12? And I said, can I get it at 13? So this exists, but this is actually Facebook driven. And this could have easily been sponsored by a government entity for it to be available to all. There's been attempts to do a web-based, like a farmer posts, I will harvest 300 kilos of my tomatoes on this week, can I be helped? Unfortunately for us, it's very cultural. It's accessed by the middle persons who will tell me now, Rex, you're harvesting at the same time as David. I have to drop your price because you're both harvesting at the same time. It's not being utilized for the use, for the benefit of the farmer. Sadly, it's utilized to the detriment of the farmers.
That's the reason why we need more information. I'm sad to say, even in my own area, I have been asking for data, and my staff are not yet prepared. So that's one of the things I need to improve and to develop in the policy and plan department of the PA. The data, when I ask for data, they always go to the internet, look for Philippine Statistics Authority. I said, we should have our own. Because we are the first ones who know the field. We are the first ones who deal with the farmers. We should know what the prices are, how much these things. I mean, we need to develop our own. And that's one of the directions I'm taking within my own department.
Okay, with that, it's exactly 9:30. Sorry, we're 30 minutes over time already. What?
Announcement of.
You want to make a short announcement?
Okay, I'd like to invite you to try the malunggay oil and see how it can help you and your beloved beautiful and looking young.
The malunggay oil. Okay, wait, 1 minute. No, you're not saying, Mr. President. I just want to announce that next week, our topic is rural development and financial inclusion. by what's this? Robotic operation. Okay, okay, Mr. President. Mr. President, Mr. President, can I say?
Wait, may I call your attention, please? USec, I cannot talk unless you listen. Okay. Our job here is to have the same objective as yours. This has changed under his leadership. And my job is for every single meeting, I have what you call after sales service. I have to know what we're gonna do after that. Alright? Now you have been given a lot of suggestions, the brilliant ones. You've given us some suggestions, but we'll talk to you some more because we want to know more of what you want from us. Right? Now, just to let you know, right? We want a revolution in DA. A revolution. DA has failed us for years. Your new plan, the way you talk, you are the first one in DA that's talking like that, giving the attention to the private sector, right? Now, our genius strategist here, our inspiration and the main leaders, Ramona, our strategist is my vice chairman. Now, I'd like to let you know this. No? First of all, Sina is not our group, is another group. But I'd like to let you know this. No? The only secretary who promised to meet us every month, and they're the five, right? The first one, the poor farmers and fish group, that's called Alianza Agri, the 42 federations. Second was the brains, which is CAMP and Academe, universities north to south. Third one is the Agri Fisheries guys, right? Is the Chamber of Agri Fisheries, right? The head of which is the the former banker. The fourth, the women, the biggest organization, rural women, 28 provinces. And the fifth one, that is where this group is going to be very key, right? It's multi-sectors, right? The brains here, right? Okay. You have the people here, right? You have the head of the processors, you have all these people, right? The trick is to transform this rhetoric into reality. Now, you have a department that has failed us. You have a big job. You have to reorganize them, revolutionize that bureaucracy. All right? I know you from before. You have a tough job. We want to. So I'd like to be very clear here, right? Okay. The one main person, we have only 5 positions. Only 5 people need the secretary and you. That's it, 5, no more than 5. But the 6th one will be from here, right? From here. Because this group meets every week, right? And they have the practitioners and all that, right? Okay. The roadmaps, we know roadmaps, right? Agricultural roadmaps are terrible compared to industry roadmaps because over there, it's the academics in the ground that does it. In industry guys do it. We gotta change that under your leadership. So I'd like to end by saying this, right? You are new blood. You have a tough job because you have old blood in DA. You gotta make that old blood new like yours. And we want to help you. And therefore, after this, you don't go around going out into the sunset, no? We will be with you in the sunset, right? So I'd like to say that. So after this, ladies and gentlemen, this guy is new. He may revolutionize it or he may fail. The path is going to depend on us and him, all right? And I'd like to repeat, no? Okay? Dar said on his first day, he did all these councils, vivid council, so many. The one that's going to be key here is that small meeting, usually in a private house, of 5 people. And the 5th one will be really influenced by this group. Okay? So that's it. Look forward to this. We congratulate you. We say, do not leave it to God. Yes. I don't believe leave it to God. I think God needs us, right? So, yeah, sir, you say leave it to God. No, we cannot leave it to God. God needs us because we're God's people here. He's not around, and he's kind of around, but he needs us to be his hands, right? So, on that note, are you agreeing to this partnership, sir?
You invited the secretary before in your house. Maybe you can speak that over.
No, because the secretary is busy with so many things. It's like so it's a genius. He will now be the 2 criminals on both his cross. You are the criminal, right? Okay. Yes, so thank you, sir. Thank you.
All right. Congratulations. Thank you. Yeah. Mr. Undersecretary, don't you think you're like you're in the Senate being grilled for being there? No. Anyway, we'd like firstly, I'm so happy that we were together, Mr. Chairman, to invite the. Please wait for the president so that you have official status. Yes, sir.
He ordered me. I follow my leader.
Join us here.
Yes, we'd like, firstly, I'm so happy that the Undersecretary took this, what they call invitation because I met him personally in the event of the Philippine Korean. Remember when we were in Shangri-La? Yes. So when I found out that you're the Undersecretary of course, of the Agriculture, I said, my gosh, we want you to be part of us. Hopefully you can come as often as you can. We're here every Tuesday morning at 7:30. So anyway, we'd like to thank you for coming, and then we'd like to hand over to you the certificate of appreciation to you, Mr. Rudy Vicerra, for your invaluable support in the advocacy and promotion of agribusiness and countryside development, and for his commendable and selfish services rendered to this foundation as guest speaker at the 36th Forum meeting held actually under the missionary of Child Jesus Stella Street, given this day, 29th day of October, Makati, signed Ernie Ordonez, President, and Ramon Ilesorio as Chairman. Congratulations. Yes, and also, well, yes. And then we have also 3 books given through the kindness of our chairman. Okay, this is 1,000 in history. Okay, and then of course 1 to mutation. Okay, and then of course different voyages in the change, chance, and choice by our chairman. Thank you very much. Okay, stay behind. You can stay here and talk. And if there's anything that you want, this is a good team up between government, academe, and businessmen. So that's the triumph.
Thank you. Meeting adjourned. Good morning. See you next week.